Hey, Sean, how are you?
No, well, Adam, how are you?
Sorry about that. Some interference here. Multiple people recording this thing. I would ask you for an update on the injury situation if you can.
Right. So I'll go through them one at a time. Taylor Rapp, tests were negative. He's Dane Jackson, Taron Johnson, both in concussion protocol. Micah Hyde, day to day with the neck stinger, as well as Cam Lewis. And then Dawson Knox is eligible to return to practice this week. He doesn't appear at this point ready to do so. So that's where we're at on that.
You kind of cut out there just for a second on Taylor Rapp. Can you elaborate kind of on where he's at? I think a lot of people would be concerned about that.
Right. No, all tests have come back negative. I believe, I haven't seen him today, but according to our trainers, he's in a good spot and has a chance to play on Sunday.
Oh, that's encouraging, obviously. And my last question would be, after you've looked at the film and assessed everything, I mean, how much of a step forward do you feel that was on offense yesterday?
Well, it was a step. That's a good defense. I think more than anything, the intangibles of the offense started to show up in the second half, the effort, the unselfish play. And I think that to me is the biggest step that I saw yesterday.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Coach Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing?
Doing well, Mookie. How are you?
Back to Victory Mondays, Coach. Everything is all good here in the city. But it's offensively great balance out there, 38 passes to 32 runs. How impressed were you in the offense ability, just in the sequence of play called in certain situations yesterday?
Well, when you can control the line of scrimmage, you can stay balanced. So the effectiveness of both the run and the pass were working for us yesterday, and that was good to see.
Absolutely, Coach. And man, I would be remiss if I didn't say how well that defense was controlling that line of scrimmage yesterday. Third downs, a Krispy Kreme, no glaze, 0 for 11 on defense there, Coach. The first time since 1987 the Bills defensive did that. What is your reaction to that?
Well, just credit the players and the staff. They put together a good game plan. The players executed, played physical. So that was fun to watch for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely, Coach. Great way to get back on track. See you on Wednesday.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, Sean, John Worrell.
Hey, John.
Congrats on the win. I don't need to remind you, but you're heading home to Philly, and any thoughts on that?
Yeah, my home is here in Buffalo. I appreciate that, John, but I live here in Buffalo, so that's where my family is, and my mom, my dad, my brother, and his family. But home is in Buffalo for us.
I appreciate that answer. Any thoughts of going back to Philadelphia where you used to coach? You've got a lot of memories.
I certainly do. It was my first job in the NFL and place I was at for 12 years plus. And, I've learned a lot. I learned a lot in my time there, mostly under Andy Reid, and it was a great experience.
Finally, fortunately, you've got a bye week coming up after the Philly game. I know you're not looking ahead to that, but just the grueling stretch how important was it to have that performance against the Jets going into what is considered the most grueling stretch of your schedule in facing Philly, Kansas City, and then Dallas?
Yeah, we just play them one at a time as they come up on our schedule. So it's really about us continuing to evolve as a football team.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure, John.
Hey, Sean. I know we already talked some last night and a little today about Joe Brady, but just what do you think is the biggest difference for this week? I know this is a question for him too, but now that he has a little more time, how much do you anticipate the offense changing either way?
Well, I just think it's more the evolution of an offense week to week. It's not about having extra time necessarily, Catherine, and then this wholesale change. It's just about us continuing to evolve and improve as a football team, in this case, as an offense.
And then just I know you mentioned Dawson might still be out for a while. What have you seen over Dalton Kincaid? We've talked about him a lot, but just what stands out to you the most about what he's done over this stretch without Dawson?
Mature beyond his years. And Dawson has really had I think, a profound impact on Dalton by sharing his wisdom, his experience. He supported Dalton. And then obviously Coach Forrest has done a nice job as well there in terms of bringing Dalton along. So I just think Dalton is a young man that takes his job extremely professional, in a professional manner, I should say. And he prepares, and then you see the results on the field.
Thanks.
Hey, Sean, we can just get clarification on Cam Lewis. I don't know if you said, does he also have a neck stinger, or is it something else with him?
Yeah, well, I should say shoulder. But yeah, he's day to day also.
And on Micah, is that a new neck stinger injury from last week, or is it the same one he's dealing with? Like, you know what I mean? Like, did he re-injure something on Sunday? I guess I'm asking.
No, those things flare up a little bit in the game, so it's just same injury, just a little bit of a flare up.
And Rasul Douglas, 3 takeaways yesterday, 2 interceptions, the fumble recovery. Seems like he's just always around the ball. It's really what you guys traded for to get that. How important is it to have, a guy on your defense? It's a ball hawk right there to be able to do that, especially after several games where you weren't taking the ball away.
Yep, no, taking the ball away is critical, right? And when you have players that can do that have ball skills and have those instincts, it's important for us. We've had that before, and here are different places I've been, and that's a nice tool to have.
Everybody talked about yesterday's the opening kickoff and Reggie, and what a great energetic boost it was. But I want to ask you about the technical aspect of the tackle. I mean, that's textbook tackle right there. And when you're flying that hard on special teams, especially with all the rules these days, you just got to kind of go into how important that is to make sure you maintain that form, not get a penalty, and do it the way he did it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the opening kickoff. I thought there was great energy in the stands, and then to come out and see our kickoff team cover that kickoff like they did. Really, the first 2 kickoffs I thought were very tense, emotional, and guys on the sideline were fired up to watch our kickoff team cover, and they did a great job.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I was curious. Obviously, Vaughn, I get he's coming back. We've talked a lot about him coming back from the injury and how that's a work in progress. He played less snaps kind of than he had in recent weeks. Was there any reason for that, or just kind of how the game went?
Yeah, just how the game went.
And then Leonard Floyd obviously had a big day yesterday. He's kind of had the injury, kind of dealt with it, and now to come back and have a performance like that, what did you see from him yesterday?
Yeah, great energy, great intensity. He took the game plan and applied it in terms of his rush plan and our rush plan overall. And I would say that was, as a group, that was what I saw. Those guys were productive and disruptive.
I wanted to actually ask about AJ too. He's someone who we talked a lot about early in the season. Do you feel like he's been very consistent throughout this year? Like, you're seeing a lot of production from him, a lot of success, but I guess how would you assess where he is at this point?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's your night. Other times it's not. Other times it's somebody else's, and you're affecting things, or you're doing something that allows the other person to get the sack and the number, right? So I think he's playing well. I think he's playing hard. He's playing physical. He's preparing, and I think the best is yet to come.
And then just curious if, like, now debriefing after the game, if you had a chance to, like, talk to Joe and the offensive staff and, like, how communication went yesterday, and kind of, like, debriefing on how everything went yesterday, just any adjustments or anything that you thought went really well yesterday when getting a bit of a step back.
Yeah, we met this morning. Again, I was just very happy to hear the communication, to your point, Elena, and the collaboration, and then the adjustments at halftime with the players included in that, and then they went out and executed, and obviously got the 2 big scores there in the second half.
Did you think that worked with Joe being in the box yesterday?
I did. Yeah, it seemed to work. Well.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's all the questions for today. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Hey Joe, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. We will go ahead and get started with questions. First question will be from Alex.
Yeah. Hey, coach. What did you think was the biggest difference for your offense yesterday? Obviously, your first day calling plays. What do you think was the spark for your team against the Jets?
Reggie Gillian, first play of the game. Obviously we would have liked to, get in the end zone that first drive, but just the energy the guys kind of played with. Reggie set the tone, and obviously defense doing getting us a lot of short fields makes life a lot easier for us. But just executing, not getting bored, just doing our job. I think that was basically everything.
How about that boost from that 81-yard touchdown from Khalil Shakir? Just the excitement level that you saw from the booth, and I saw your excitement level after the long touchdown to Ty Johnson. Just can you build upon the energy boost that your team experienced this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a matter of when everybody just does their job, and the execution is where it needs to be. Good things happen, and so to me, it's about just that confidence that everybody can play with, and I believe in the guys, and so when they just do their job, and I trust that the guys are going to do their job. They just kind of feed off one another, and obviously playing at home, the crowd was exciting and makes life a lot easier for our guys. But just basically just them feeding off one another, and I think you saw that last night.
Thanks.
Hey, Joe, congratulations on the win. Have you got me?
Got you. Yep. Sorry. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Thank you. It was obviously a week of adjustment for all reasons that we've talked about, right? But as you got into that game and you mentioned the Gilliam hit and the fumble at the beginning, and you guys still early were settling for field goals, but you seemed to identify something, find more of a rhythm, get others involved when they were taking Steph and Gabe away, for example, as Sean pointed out after the game. What was it like? Take me through the process of the game itself as you're calling it, and in that situation for the first time as a coordinator for the Bills, and how you were able to kind of identify things and find success and get others involved as you did.
Well, I mean, obviously, incredible communication from the coaching staff and the players down the sideline. So that makes my life a lot easier. Us just, making sure we're all seeing everything the same way. And the biggest thing is, I always preach that there's a way to win every game. Coach Parcells said that a long time ago. And so you might go in the game and it might be like, hey, this is what we believe, this is what we think. And as a couple drives go by, you kind of see how maybe the defense is playing or how we're playing, and sit there and say, okay, well, what's it going to take to win this game? And so that was the biggest thing. Obviously it wasn't like, it wasn't like it was anything drastic those first, few drives. Obviously we want to score touchdowns. That's our job, and we got to do a better job at that. I got to do a better job at that. But to me, it was just us finding ways to, how it was going to take to win that football game. I thought we did a good job doing that.
And what was your philosophy and message to Josh about how you wanted him to play in that game? He looked kind of more, certainly not at ease, but he was smooth, seemed under control within, what he brings to the table to every football game that he plays. What was your message to Josh this week?
I just want him to be Josh Allen. The fun, the excitement that he kind of plays with, I feed off of it, and at the end of the day, man, this is a game. We're supposed to have fun. I have a ton of fun coaching. I know our guys have a lot of fun playing, and so I know it's a business and it's a job, but at the same time, we're out there having fun playing football. And not that he wasn't having fun before, but I think you saw it a little bit last night, and I think the guys obviously fed off of it as well.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Hey, Coach, I don't know how deep you want to go into strategy here, but it appeared that you guys did use the middle of the field a little bit more yesterday. And I don't know if that was, can you elaborate if that was more your conscious, game planning? Was it just something that happened organically through the game and what they were giving? If you can give us some insight into that.
Yeah, I think it's, I think week to week, something that we kind of evaluate and look at, depending on how defenses are kind of playing us. I don't think it's not anything where, hey, this week, for the rest of the season, we're going to be a team that just attacks the middle of the field. It's, how can we put our players in position to have success based upon what we're going at, and not just doing it because somebody else had success running against that defense. Like, hey, does it fit us? Does it fit our guys? What are the matchups? And so it's us just kind of looking at that and, Josh did a good job of finding those matchups last night, and our guys did a good job of making those plays.
2 weeks ago when we talked to Ken, he said that Josh is more comfortable sometimes in shotgun, but we also know some of the numbers show under center can be very effective. How do you balance that with Josh? How do you balance, what he's comfortable with, knowing though what might be less effective or more effective, making sure it all works together?
Well, I think everything always starts with Josh, but also starts up front and making sure that the protection matches up with the route distance and the routes and just in terms of being able to protect, and so it's just sometimes Josh sees things from the gun, but you get under center, it has a run feel, it has a potential of a play action. I know he's comfortable with both. I think there's a time and a place for both. He did a great job last night, taking the outlet to Ty, and Ty did a great job, making the linebacker miss and getting yards after catch with it. So, I think it's something that you got to continue to evolve and figure out, like, hey, are we doing it just to do it? Or are we doing it because it puts our players in position to have success and because we like how it matches up against the defense that we're going against? And so something that every week we kind of look at and continue to evolve.
Appreciate that insight. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned how it was kind of a wild week for you, short week, taking over the job, second time as offensive coordinator, going up against a very good Jets defense. I guess I'm wondering what your emotions were and what was going through your head. At the end of the game, you guys scored 30 points for the first time in over a month. I guess just your emotions of when the game was finally over.
I was just excited for the guys. This is what I do for a living, right? So it was a tough week, but this is my job, and all I want is for our guys to have success. And so just being in the locker room and just seeing them excited, being able to see them enjoy a win, I just wanted that for them. Like that's why I coach. That's why I do it. It's not about myself. It's not about the coaches. It's about the players. And that was all my emotions. Didn't really have much going into the game. It was just, just getting that taste of that victory at the game. That's all that mattered. And so I enjoyed that.
I imagine a couple of late nights. Were you able to get some sleep last night after a nice win?
I don't know if you ever really sleep in this profession. You're always kind of got to flip the page, and we got a great opponent this week, and so your mind just starts kind of moving on to that.
I appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
I appreciate you.
Hey, Joe, was wondering just kind of, was there a final deciding factor on going to the booth instead of from the field, and how did you feel all of that went from a communication standpoint? I went up there just to kind of check it out, and I felt comfortable kind of doing both ways. I don't really know exactly why I chose to kind of stay up there. It takes some of the emotion out of it, but it was a great job just being in communication with Josh and the coaches down on the sideline, so that made my life a lot easier. But I felt like everything was kind of smooth, from an operation standpoint. Obviously, there's opportunities that I got to do better, but I enjoyed being up there. And then you mentioned in an earlier answer just about, building trust with guys across the offense. What has it been like with players outside of the quarterback room, of like guys obviously, but you're still getting to know a little bit better? What has it been like building trust with those players?
Yeah, I think, obviously when you're the quarterback coach, you're having relationships with the guys, but just making sure that, now that I'm the coordinator, that I'm just digging into it a little deeper. Our communication is a little more, I want to be more involved in the other rooms, and so that they kind of feel me, understand my personality. The quarterbacks get me all day, every day. So just making sure that my voice and our communication, so that the guys can understand, who I am, and I can understand them a little better. That's what was exciting about seeing like that running back room kind of make some plays, guys in the pass game, that type of stuff. It was really good. My trust in them, but being able to spend some time just kind of talking with those guys this week, and a lot of fun seeing them, have success with it.
When you're intentional about it that way, does it change any this week when you have like now a little more time to build on than you did last week? Or like, what is different about this week for you of just getting to work with players from that standpoint?
No, I don't think anything's really going to change. I think the approach and the mindset, the only thing different last week was we had one less day, but I think the openness, the selflessness from our guys, the communication from our guys, as long as we can have that, and as long as we take the same approach that it took to win this past week, I think that's the most important thing, and not just focus on the end result, but everything that led to it.
Thanks.
What's up, Joe? I know you talked about turning the page already. You guys have a good opponent coming up in the Eagles, and they'll get to play tonight against another good opponent in the Chiefs. So what do you know so far about what you've scouted for the Eagles coming up on Sunday afternoon?
Another just I feel like it's week after week in the NFL, but it's just another great defense. When you turn on the tape, there are a lot of as a coordinator, you don't like going against, but as a fan of football, you're appreciative of the way that they play the game. They do a really good job of affecting the quarterback and getting after it. Some playmakers on the outsides, and so it's going to be a great challenge for us. I'm glad we got a full week this week to prepare and get ready for them.
Thanks.
Hey, Joe. Yesterday you guys kind of stuck with the run, even when it wasn't maybe picking up the kind of yards that you wanted to. How easy is it at times to kind of get away from that, especially when you have a quarterback like Josh?
I mean, you always want to stay ahead of the change. You want to stay on schedule, but you have to know in order to have success running the football, there's going to be some bloody runs. There's going to be some 2-yard runs. There's going to be 3-yard runs, but in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, you hope that those 2-yard runs that they wear on the defense a little bit. So, I think the biggest thing is you don't want to ever make yourself one-dimensional. And so you have to live with the mindset that, hey, there might be some, just like there's some passes that we call that are going to be incomplete, or there's going to be some negative plays in the pass game, but you're not going to go away from the pass game. Why is it any different from the run game? And so in order to be the offense that we want to be as the season moves forward, we're going to have to be able to run the football, in meaningful moments, as the weather continues to get worse. And so no matter what it is, I think it's important that we stick to the run.
Used motion quite a bit yesterday, more than maybe the team's trend over the course of the season. How much do you think that helped Josh pre-snap yesterday?
I don't know. It's I think as long there's got to be intention and reason for why we're motioning. We're not just motioning just to motion. We're not just shifting just to shift. So whether it's for Josh, whether it's for offensive line, whether it's for a receiver ID and something, there's got to be an intent behind it. So, I hope whatever we did yesterday helped from that standpoint. But I think anytime you can slow it down for the quarterback or trying to paint a clearer picture for, I hope that can help.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach Brady, Mookie Arkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing?
Doing well. How you doing, bud?
Great game today. Great game yesterday, Coach. Great balance, 38 passes to 32 rushes. How impressed were you the way your offense went on and executed in a sequence of plays called in certain situations yesterday?
Look, I was pleased. It was how they practiced. It started on Wednesday, and the approach that they had all week. Like, you don't just show up on Sunday and just have success. And it was the mindset and the preparation that they put into it, and the selfless way that they kind of went about it. Gabe Davis had 0 catches in the game, but in my mind, he was the player of the game. And so, it was a selfless mindset, what he was doing in the run game, what he was doing in the pass game to get certain guys open and whatnot. So, I think oftentimes we see stats and it doesn't necessarily paint the whole picture how the game's being played. And so from an execution standpoint, I was really pleased with, how our guys from selflessness standpoint kind of came to play. And you kind of saw that on the field yesterday.
Absolutely. Coach Saylor had to say this after the game. He said that Josh didn't play as much hero ball as we were used to seeing. How were you able to keep Josh away from playing hero ball, and your thoughts on team scheming for him to play that way?
I think, like, at the end of the day, I trust Josh Allen to make great decisions. There's sometimes, I'm not sure the exact definition of hero ball, but sometimes Josh, some of the best things that he does is, make plays off schedule. But when he's standing in the pocket and kind of finding, going through his progressions and finding completions, great things are going to happen as well. So I was pleased with his decision making yesterday. I was pleased with, the ball placement yesterday. And, I'm glad that he didn't get bored and kind of stuck with it.
Absolutely, Coach. Great victory. Enjoy the holidays. Good luck on Sunday.
I appreciate you.
That's all the questions for today. Thanks, Joe.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon, Coach Washington. We can go ahead and get started with questions if you're ready.
Sure.
Great. First question will be from Dom.
Hey, Coach, you got me?
Yes, I do.
Hey, I just wanted to ask you first just about Tyrell Dodson, just your takeaways from his play yesterday, and with the added responsibilities kind of been thrown on his plate over the last couple of games, just your thoughts on his development and how he's handled that added responsibility.
Just really excited about how Tyrell played as well as the entire defense. He was physical. He was, he had a big time command over the communication that we needed to get everyone lined up and ready to play once the ball was snapped. Very physical at the point of attack. Our run defense has really picked up over the last couple of weeks, and he's been a factor for that. So excited to watch him play. His coverage drops were consistent, and so really excited about how he's been performing.
I know it's still early in the week and you're prepping for Philly, obviously plays tonight too, but just, we've heard Sean talk about this a lot when you guys match up against good offenses, in example like Kansas City, the balance of not so much trying to work to stop them, keep them from doing everything they do, but more so just limiting and keeping the offense in the game able to let them do what they do as well. I guess where's the balance as you look ahead to this, good offense that Philly has, and the balance of just trying to stop them, but also just knowing that sometimes you just have to just limit what they do?
Well, our goals don't change. I mean, they don't change. We have a certain expectation as it pertains to points, as it pertains to third down efficiency, red zone efficiency, the explosive plays that we want to limit, and being able to force turnovers. Those things won't change. We will go out and put together a plan, and we will measure our performance against those goals. We respect Philadelphia's offense, but that won't change our approach. It certainly won't change the expectations we have for ourselves.
And one more, if I could, Coach. Just wanted to ask you about the turnovers last night. It's something that the defense hadn't been able to do in a couple games past, but just how much of a lift was just creating those turnovers, and how did you see the team, the defense just feed off of that ability to flip the field and help your offense?
Well, it's infectious. And the enthusiasm, the energy that it provides. You have to be in the right position, and everyone. The turnovers are usually forced. There's coverage elements. There's rush elements. There's execution factors in that. And when those things start to happen, the guys are looking for those things. It really is infectious. It feeds into the energy of our defense, of the crowd, obviously, and just the entire team. So it was great to see, and we want to continue with that every single week.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Hey, Eric, John Worrell.
Hi.
How does anyone prepare for the brotherly shove?
Pardon me?
How does anyone prepare for the brotherly shove, the tush push?
Oh, okay. You have to excuse me. You prepare for the quarterback sneak, which that is just how that's evolved. You prepare for that. You do everything you can to fortify the most direct path that the quarterback has to try and get an inch or a foot or whatever a team needs in a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 situation to get a first down. And that's what you do. And you make sure that also that you are aware of the things, the addendums that can come out of that formation. We can't go to sleep and allow them to get into that formation and execute plays away from that point of attack. But you put power up there. You execute your short yardage technique. It's a very specific technique with the defensive line and the linebackers, and you give it everything that you have. And the other thing that you do is you stay out of 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1.
Right. No, that's very good. The other thing is you've not faced a running quarterback like Jalen Hurts yet this season. What are the challenges of having to kind of switch gears after facing more mobile kind of guys this year?
When you say running quarterback, do you mean a person with scrambling ability or design runs? What do you mean by that?
Well, I guess just what Jalen brings his own unique factors with the RPO options and all that stuff. I guess you've not I'm not sure if you faced anybody like that yet this season. I mean, I know you're accustomed to it, but the challenges of kind of switching gears on defense.
Well, we haven't faced Jalen Hurts, but certainly we've seen different styles of quarterbacks where they are the featured runner or a secondary runner, the RPO style offenses. But there's only one quarterback in Washington. There's only one quarterback in Philadelphia, and we'll be prepared for Jalen and everything that every dimension, everything that he provides for that offense, and we just have to be ready to execute how our plan dictates that we need to.
You're right. I forgot about Sam Howell. And lastly, just when it comes to Rasul Douglas, he came in billed as a ball hawk. And for a guy who's kind of bounced around, he came in as advertised based on what we saw yesterday. What do you make of how he's been able to fit into the scheme and defense so quickly?
Well, his personality is the first thing that we notice here in the building. I mean, the guy's a pro. The young man is a pro. He's got a great personality, eager to listen and to learn, very humble attitude. And from that respect, just eager to learn. He's got a growth mindset with all of the success that he's had and experiences that he's had in pro football so far. And he's a smart player. I mean, he knows how to find the football, and he knows how to adjust the coverage and the coverage technique to the situation that he's confronted with. So we're very excited that he's here, and he's a good person for our secondary to kind of really pay attention to in terms of how he approaches a situation, practice. Not that we don't have great role models in that locker room already, but it's great to have another person with that type of a mindset.
Thanks, Eric, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Coach Washington. George Radney, Challenger Community News. How you doing this afternoon?
Doing well. Thank you, George.
Great. Appreciate your time today, too. Linville Joseph, what has he meant to the defensive front since he's joined the team?
Well, I could take a long time to answer that. I mean, I'll start with the professionalism. The professionalism and a person that has a very long and distinguished resume in terms of production, team accomplishments, individual accolades in pro football. He brings credibility to the table, and someone at the same time who is willing to share a lot of those things to the men in the defensive line room. He's a tremendous point of attack anchor, very strong, tough to move off the point. He can accumulate blocks and anchor the point of attack, command his gap, and he can collapse the pocket. So I could go on and on, but those are some of the things that have been highlights so far.
Wow, and that got to be a part of the new era of the NFL. In the old days, you didn't used to see guys like this on the, out there available at this time of the year, where you can just pick them up and they, like you said, have the experience and the presence to come in and get themselves ready to play. That seems like it's part of the new era within the NFL. A lot of guys, Ndamukong Suhs and guys seem to keep themselves in shape and game ready and mentally can come into a given team and be able to play. Is that what you're seeing with some of these veteran guys that are coming on to teams now, coming on to the Bills?
Well, we're fortunate to get Linval. We're extremely fortunate to get him and to have a person of that level of character and everything that I just described and mentioned to be available. And the other thing is Linval had multiple options. He had other suitors, and he decided that this is the place that he wanted to be and to contribute and to compete. And so we're fortunate that he's here.
Okay. And last but not least, Leonard Floyd, 8-year veteran, and he's still playing like a young guy out there most of the season. What's your take on his play yesterday?
Outstanding. Not only the splash plays, the sacks, but just the point of attack defense, setting the edge of the defense, and being in a position to tackle the ball carrier, executing the different assignment details that were presented to him, but just a lot of energy. I mean, Leonard rushed on the left and right-hand side, which is tough for a lot of pass rushers. Sometimes people struggle to rush their non-dominant hand, but Leonard was able to go out and generate pressure from both sides, which is a huge benefit for us. It gives us a lot of flexibility with the rotation.
All right. Well, that sounds like that is very difficult for guys to switch sides. It sounds easy, but like you said, not rushing from your non-dominant hand, that is dicey at times.
Yes, sir.
But thank you. Hey, I appreciate your time. Good luck this coming week in Philadelphia.
Thank you, sir.
Coach Washington, Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. How you doing?
Doing outstanding. How are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm great. It is Victory Monday, and your defense was playing like Von Miller put hot sauce in their food. 6 sacks, 2 picks, fumbles created everywhere. 0 for 11 on 3rd down. I know you was very, very excited about, just that first time since 1987, since that has happened. But what did you see in your defense yesterday that you haven't seen in weeks?
Well, we were able to put the entire game together. We didn't have a situation where we were generating pressure and the run defense didn't work, or the run defense was solid and we weren't able to force turnovers. It just seemed like everything that we set out to accomplish as a defense, everything was working, and that's a tremendous credit to the men, to the players, and their preparation, their mindset, their attitude. Everything just came together. Everything was working for us. And so that's what you saw. And it was not just one entity. It was everyone on defense, from the defensive line all the way to the linebacker level and the secondary level. Everything was working, and it was fun to watch.
Absolutely, Coach. Now, moving on to, the next opponent in Philly. So many weapons Philly has. It's kind of, like Miami and that weaponry they have. How tough will it be to dictate the pace on Sunday?
Well, every week in the National Football League is challenging, and this is the next challenge for us. And certainly, we're going to need a great week of practice. We're going to need to really do our homework as a staff and present the players with a concise, clear plan of attack that doesn't drift away from our core identity. Execution is going to be huge, and we're going to have to be just as opportunistic in that environment as we were yesterday here. Those things give you a chance, and I know they're going to be stingy. They take care of the ball extremely well, and we're going to have to go and force and create some opportunities for ourselves. But I'm excited about the challenge. I know the players will be also.
Congrats on the win, Coach. Enjoy the holidays. Good luck this Sunday.
Thank you.
Hey, Eric. I wanted to follow up first on Leonard Floyd a little bit. Just now that you've gotten to know him more than halfway through the season, is there anything about his preparation that surprised you or stood out to you once you got to know him better?
Well, it really hasn't changed a whole lot since Leonard first walked on the practice field. There is an intensity to Leonard, a quiet intensity in the classroom. He's steely-eyed, very, very focused during the classroom part of the preparation. And then out on the practice field, you can just always count on maximum effort from Leonard. He's very calculating and methodical in terms of how he gets ready to rush. And he's just been consistent in that way, very competitive, which is a great trait for an elite pass rusher.
And then on a very separate note, Cam Lewis is a guy who's ready to play so many different roles. Just what kind of do you see from him during practice of, being ready for all sorts of different scenarios in case he's coming in?
Well, Cam understands that his value is the versatility that he has. And that's a huge responsibility because you can't lock in and just focus on playing, corner or nickel or safety. And so he knows what his value is to us. And it's a great thing to have on you, as a part of your overall resume, if you will. But we know we're going to get physical play, tight coverage from Cam, and just a person that's extremely versatile that could go in and affect the game in a positive way from a number of alignments. And we really appreciate that.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's all the questions for today. Thank you.
You're welcome.